Well, have you gotten a call or an email saying you missed jury duty and you have to pay?
Well, if you have, the Federal Trade Commission says it's a scam that's been circulating across the country. Christopher Ekman from the U.S. District Court here in Southern Alabama is joining us now to talk about jury scams and what we can do to protect ourselves. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Absolutely. Let's talk about how folks can know if they're being scammed. Like, what are the tactics? What are some of the clues?
All right, typically they will get a phone call. The phone call will say the person is from the sheriff's office, the marshal service, maybe even from the court. They may name a particular judge. And they will sound very earnest. They will sound very convincing. They will sound very persuasive. They will say, you were required to appear for jury duty and you did not. And now there is a warrant out for your arrest. And the only way you can clear that warrant, you're going to be picked up if you go driving out around in the community because the law enforcement's looking for you. The only way to clear that warrant is if you pay, and pay right now.
This is, it should be a tip-off right now that somebody's calling you on the phone and you have to pay them money over the phone. Green dot cards, that sort of thing.
And the form of payment, oftentimes it's gift cards,
right.
It's go to a kiosk, sometimes it's cryptocurrency, and all those things should be red flags that, wait a minute, this is not legitimate.
Absolutely. Now, what are some of the trends that you all are seeing here locally?
I mean, jury scams are nothing new. They've been around for a long time. They sort of ebb and flow in our world. And we don't have any way to really track them. We just know anecdotally we have been getting a huge increase in phone calls recently. And by recently, I mean over the last month or so. And based on that, we're trying to raise awareness in the community of what these things are so that people aren't caught unawares and people don't get victimized by this.
So people should know the proper jury duty call. You're going to get a letter in the mail.
Yes.
From a court system. It might be the federal court, might be circuit court.
Exactly.
How does that work?
All right, so from the federal court side, we would contact you and say, first of all, you are a potential juror, and we would ask you to complete some information for us. You could do it online or through a mail-in questionnaire. And after you submit that, we would contact you a second time when you were selected with a jury summons, a piece of paper that says you are to appear in our federal courthouse on this day at this time for this proceeding. And if you do not appear for that, the consequence would not be that someone from my office calls you and demands money.
Right.
We may call you and say you need to come down and talk to the judge and explain why you weren't there, because federal law does require that people appear for jury duty. It's not optional, it is mandatory.
And I want to ask you before we go really quickly, what should people do if they receive this scam? If they receive these calls to pay them money, how should they let people know that they've got this scam going on?
They should hang up. And if they have any doubt about whether it's legitimate or not, they should call the courthouse and ask us, and we will tell them. If they want to report it further, they can contact the FBI. They can contact the U.S. Marshals. They can contact local law enforcement. There are open investigations with all of those.
All right, Christopher Ekman with the U.S. District Court in Mobile. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
We've got more coming up. Stay with us.